This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glyn Lavender.
Hi and welcome to episode 516 of COVID Central. This is Bruce Williams from shuttersincpodcast.com, and dying in Melbourne apparently is Mr. Glyn Lavender. How are you?
You know what my old dad used to say?
What did he used to say?
It's not the coffin you got to worry about, it's the coffin they carry you off in.
There you go.
Excuse me, I've got a bit of a cough hole to go on there just for a second. But it's I'm fine. I'm fine. I can still feel my legs, so it's not corona. That's the first sign, isn't it?
Is it?
You can't feel your legs.
I don't know.
That's why people aren't going out to get tested, because they can't feel they can't move. They can't feel the legs aren't working. It needs like home visit doctors to go around and test people. If you can't get to your front door, you've got it. It could be a simple test.
Okay.
How have you been? We didn't do one last week, did we? Or did we do one last week?
We did not.
We didn't. That's right. I couldn't be asked, could I?
We couldn't get a time that worked for both of us.
Oh, I think I just couldn't be asked.
Right. So, I've got myself a job.
What?
Yeah.
How's it? Tell us more. Inquiring audiences want to know.
You're gonna laugh.
Oh. Go on.
I'm driving a delivery truck for Coles.
Oh, good on you, mate.
Thank you.
No, a friend of mine even doing the same thing for Amazon.
Right.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. Hey, who's in most demand at the moment?
Tell me about
supermarket delivery vans and Amazon.
Yep.
Go work for them.
Yep.
Good on you, mate.
Yeah. So they've had me in training for the last week.
Hey, I thought you were driving a van, not a train.
Yeah. So that has meant I haven't actually been in the truck at all yet. It's all been in the supermarket loading. And man, that is physical stuff.
Oh, really?
Very physical stuff. They reckon that over the course of a 9-hour shift, we lift somewhere between 3,500 and 5,000 kilos.
Wow.
So, man, you know it at the end of it, I can tell you.
Oh, I bet.
But I'm actually...
So what size forklift do you use to lift that?
Just your arms. I'm actually enjoying it. I'm really enjoying the physical nature of it.
Years and years and years, like back in the 90s when I was travelling the world, I did some work in a factory in England, piecemeal. So I put putting brochures into bags.
Okay,
and you had to work really, really fast. It was like a competition to get as many of these things stuff per hour. And the more you could do, the more you got paid.
Right. Okay.
So you work like a demon, And I felt exactly the same way. That it was really enjoyable to do that, just sort of mindless,
yes,
but repetitive, a little bit physical work. It's really good.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I've spent 34 years sitting on my bum in a recording studio, and I still love recording. Like, don't get me wrong, I still love the audio industry, but what drove this decision is the fact that I am just over the commute.
Of course.
To go to Sydney, it's, depending on how far into Sydney I have to go, it's anything from an hour and a quarter upwards.
So can I just say that you didn't like the driving distances, so now you're driving. Can we just see the irony here before we go any further?
No, it's a whole different kettle of fish. It is a whole different kettle of fish.
Well, that's probably what you're delivering, but there might be some of the stuff you deliver. Kettles of fish.
Yes, so
but, yep. I mean, the mind numbingness of commuting, I guess. Yeah.
But, look, I don't know. Sydney traffic is just different to coast traffic, and when the driving is the job, that's completely different to when the driving is just getting to the job.
Yeah. At least whilst you're driving, you're doing.
Yes. Exactly.
You're not driving and then having to start. Say, I've just wasted. I've been going an hour and a half. What
exactly
it. Started yet?
Exactly. So the supermarket I'm working at is about 12 minutes from home. As opposed to an hour and a quarter. So
I had a car that slow once.
Yes. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. The money is nothing like what I'm used to earning.
Oh, of course.
But
that's why you don't get your road scholars knock on the door and say, "Excusez-moi, madame,
yes.
the delivery from Le Coles is here for you."
Yes.
Where do you want it? It's kind of what you get.
Yeah.
No, but you know what? you're providing for the fam.
Yep.
You're doing what it takes, and you're not just sitting back going, I'll just try and see if I can find something. Yeah, you're just going out there and doing it. And I'm proud of you, dude.
Oh, thank you, mate. Thank you.
Good on you. Didn't laugh in the slightest, except for I didn't like to drive to work, so I'm going to drive. That's kind of amusing. But no, good stuff. Well done. I mean, if I could get off my butt. No, I've got an excuse, haven't I? I've got kids who need to be homeschooled.
Yeah.
And by that, what I mean by homeschooled is they get up, get their own breakfast, go in their bedrooms and start.
Right.
And a couple of hours later, I take in a morning snack. And a couple of hours later, I take in lunch. And a couple of hours later, I take in an afternoon snack. That's me homeschooling this time round.
Right.
You know. Then I sit on the couch.
Yeah.
And watch me stories.
Right.
Yeah. It's been a bit hard work. Actually, no, I changed it up a bit today.
Yeah.
I went for a walk up to the local park, laid on the hill, and watched my stories on my phone for a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah. I thought really, break it up, shake it up. Yeah.
Was it sunny?
Good. Oh, it's a beautiful day today. Beautiful.
Excellent.
It's like autumn, like autumn and spring.
It is like autumn.
It's just like spring. No, it's a beautiful day. It's like almost 17 degrees, but no wind, blue skies, little fluffy white clouds.
Nice. Gorgeous.
Sat out there in the. I went out to enjoy the outdoors and put my earplugs in and watch the show.
Excellent.
See you.
Excellent. Yeah. And what else have you been up to in the last 2 weeks?
Well, photographically, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I did yesterday have to record a couple of little short videos because today, Bruce, we're recording on World Photography Day.
Oh, are we?
Today is World Photography Day.
How about that?
Happy World Photography Day, dude.
Yeah, thank you. Same to you.
Tamara Australia, I could do 3 little sort of 5-second bits that they're going to put into a video for World Photography Day, which I said sure, and I did, and it was today.
Nice.
So they've on their Facebook page, and I think going on Instagram tonight and stuff. So
excellent.
It was nice. Yeah, it was good. There's me and a bunch of other people that mostly I know most of them. A few I don't.
Yep.
From associations with, and put out this little video saying what were the 3 questions. What do I like to photograph? Why do I love photography? And there was something else. And the why do I love photography? I said I'm not sure I do. Yeah. Ambassador for the company. Why do you love? I'm not sure I do. But I thought I'd save it with that. Yeah. So and there was some other question. I can't remember what it was, but I put a very poignant answer to that one, and they used that one to stop the video, which was good.
Right.
Yeah. And it was so poignant that the social media manager said, "Mate, I'm crying." Yeah. And then I've got messages from people, "Mate, crying." Yeah. And people online go teared up at the end.
Right.
That was pretty good. My poignancy worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bit of gravitas at the end and not make it quite so light and fluffy, and it worked a treat.
Nice.
So, you can make someone cry, and not just from your dad jokes. It's that's about all I've done. Photographically, that is literally, figuratively, and what's the other one? There's literally, figuratively, and is there another one?
I have no idea.
Another one.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what I'm talking about it now, but anyway, doesn't matter. I've literally done nothing else in photography. But I did post up on Facebook, I think it was a couple of days ago. I saw this advert of this girl. She's laying on a bed. She's pretty with the hair all flounced out, and she's taking a selfie of herself. Yeah, she's got to hold the phone up and
not a selfie of herself.
No, it wasn't an Aussie. It was the back of the phone.
Yeah.
And the back of the phone didn't have a lens.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I saw that.
I called it the iMe phone. Yeah. I thought, how bizarre. Now, obviously, it's a prop, but not even think about putting a lens where it would normally be.
Exactly.
If you were to go through young people's phones, there's probably no need to have the other camera on the front.
Yeah, exactly.
I need that once you can do the selfies and the Uzzies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that could save some money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was fun. So that's my entire involvement in photography.
Right.
2 weeks. Pretty out there, hey?
Yeah.
It's not quite true. I moved my camera from one table to a different table this afternoon.
Right. Okay. Why?
I was in the way.
Oh,
Near the table.
Right.
Near the table.
Fair enough.
It's been a big week of photography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I must admit, the most work my A7 III gets these days is when I'm filming my Darktable tutorials.
Yeah. There you go.
So I'm using my camera every week, but haven't shot a still in ages.
I have been starting to look at Sony A7s, just sort of pottering in the back of my head.
Okay.
Just because I really love this new Tamron 35 to 150 f2 to 2.8.
Right.
That's going to be coming out for Sony. I think it's just as a travel lens. I mean, I'm not talking like photo tour travel because I need more than that gear wise. But so I'm playing this trip to Europe with the fam.
Yep.
It's just like the perfect lens.
Yeah.
The absolute that, and with the little 11 to 20. What a great piece of kit in just a tiny little package.
Yeah.
So I'm seriously, because I can get the lenses for free, so that's good. Just to buy a body or steal yours, then do that, and then the world will be saved having to watch another darkroom video. Hey, how's your darkroom videos been going? Have you been shortening them, doing multi-parts, all that kind of stuff? Have you noticed any changes?
Have been trying to shorten them, but having said that, I just recorded episode 100 today, and that ran for 42 minutes.
So a milestone video needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. So I did cover a lot of different ground in this particular episode. So, but generally, yes, I have been trying to cut them down. I struggle to get them down to 8 minutes, though.
I still think you should do two 5-minute ones. Part 1, Part 2.
It's finding a logical place to stop.
Like, whoever's writing your script, get them to do it.
Great idea. Yeah, I get on a roll, and then, I can't stop. So
you're not thinking it from an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah. Yeah, I am. It is in my mind all of the time to try and shorten them, and certainly with my plan to launch a masterclass, then I definitely will be shortening and reducing the scope of the content that goes out for free on YouTube to try and promote the masterclass. So,
do you think people who want free software will pay to learn how to use it?
That's a good question. A lot of my audience have been very supportive since I announced that I was going to, have a stab at this, and certainly more than a handful have said they will pay for it when it's available. But
I would suggest that you say early bird special.
Yep.
All those who actually want to support the building of, you're going to get it for half price now for $50 instead of $100.
Yeah.
If you put your money down now, let's see how supportive they actually are by actually ponying up the cash.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah. Gauge genuine interest, right? Because if someone comes to me and says in a normal world, Glenn, what are you doing August 17th? It's just a random date I'm picking.
Yeah.
Nothing by. Oh, we've got a party. You want to come? Yeah, I'll come. Come August 15. I'm thinking of excuses. How the hell can I get out of this?
Yeah.
Happy to say yes at the time.
Yeah.
But when reality starts to set, I'm actually going to go and socialise. Damn. Oh, I've broken my leg again. Look at that. Something. So, how do you get your early birds in to guarantee you actually got an audience? And if you don't get critical numbers on the early birds, then you refund them and say, it's not enough people interested, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that way you're not putting all the effort into building the masterclass and then finding no one's going to pay.
Yeah, right.
You gauge actual financial interest.
Yep.
Yeah, set yourself a deadline. Okay, and I'll be launching it, give yourself 3 months or something, or 2 months.
Yep.
That way, you're forced to work harder to get it done because there's people expecting.
Yep.
And remember, all you got to do is have part 1 of masterclass done. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. And you'll gauge whether there's actually a genuine. Yeah. What were you thinking price wise?
I was thinking $149, but
$79 early bird.
Yep.
And maybe that you limit it, say, 20 places only for early bird.
Right.
Yeah, so that's it. Once that's done, it'll be full price for anyone else after that, and you'll gauge how quickly you can fill those 20 places. Could really get at least a good grasp of it about the actual interest in it.
Yeah.
Who knows? You know, food for thought. Let's put it that way.
Definitely.
Food for thought. Yes.
Definitely.
Anyway.
So that's where I'm at.
Good.
Yeah.
Our Coles delivery people were refusing orders because they were too overloaded. So can you drive down to us and drop off? Is it allowed?
I might be struggling to get from here to there and back in time, mate.
Or before the frozen stuff gets defrosted.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the concern.
Yeah.
Well, so we don't even have a post office at the moment. I've got some documents I need to sign and send off, and our post office is closed because of COVID.
Right.
And
can you not sign them and scan them and email them?
No, it's got to be. They need originals.
Wow.
It's legal paperwork.
Yeah, right.
And next nearest post office is outside our 5 kilometre zone. And there's like 10 people in this waiting for us to put this to finalise this legal requirement.
Yeah, right.
And we can't. Like the weird things that this situation hits you on, that you just don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't sort of expect. Bizarre.
Yeah.
Very bizarre. So they'll have to sue me some other time, I guess.
Yeah, right.
It's not a lawsuit. It's finalising my mum's will.
Oh, okay. Right.
It's like, timing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Since 2005, Shutters Inc. has been a labour of love. But beyond the time required to produce it, there is also a financial commitment. If you find value in the podcast and would like to help keep the servers running, hit up the Patreon link, which is in the show notes. Even a couple of dollars a month will help. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast.
I found this is a subject I'm not sure I'm either smart enough, and I think the listeners would probably agree. I'm not sure if I'm smart enough to talk about this particular topic coming up, or have a depth of human emotion enough to talk about it. But we'll give it a stab and see how it goes. I saw this Adobe listed their like top young photographers of the. I zoned out after that. But one person is they picked on was not picked on. The one person they picked for picking on was a female photographer who was her point of difference. She reckons is she wants to go out and photograph inclusivity. Okay. Photograph, and I thought, well, if you're searching out people that are different to photograph, that seems exploitative more than. So Adobe Rising Star Anna Neubauer focuses her lens on inclusivity, and looking at the range of photographs, I don't see anything that's actually inclusive whatsoever.
Right.
I mean, there's not. Okay, there's one group of like 2, 4, 6, 7 people in that group, but there's lots of just photos of one person, like against a wall or something. That's not in any way, shape, what I'd call inclusive. Yeah. But the only thing that's defining about them, maybe they may have autism or Down syndrome or there's issues that make them maybe struggle with being included in lots of stuff.
Yep.
I'm not sure how that shows being inclusive. Going out deliberately to look for people who are different.
For people who are being ostracised.
Yeah, well, you're seeing them through a lens that is judging outward appearances or the way they handle and behave themselves, and assuming, because I'm assuming that you don't know all these people in depth.
No.
So therefore you're assuming they're living a life being excluded from stuff.
Yeah.
And your attempt to try and photograph them being included, I mean, I don't know. It just struck me as not odd. I don't know. It didn't ring true to me that how you can do this. It's like, a few years ago, everyone was out photographing homeless people in the streets.
Yeah, right. Yep.
It's like, well, is that manipulation? Is that it's not very true to go and just photograph someone. Maybe sit down and talk to them for an hour or two and learn something about them and their situation. Maybe that makes it less exploitative. But so many people walk around and just photograph the homeless.
Yeah.
And I also have the same problem with travel photography when you're looking for interesting-looking people to photograph. But as always with my stuff is I like to find out as much as you can about it. Talk to people, meet people, and photograph the connection you have with people.
Yeah.
As opposed to street photography, looking for odd things that are happening to photograph or whatever. And I just found it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm seeing things or imagining things. She says, I have the power to redefine representation and drive inclusivity within photography. Well, certainly not representative upon the work that she's showing, or Adobe's showing of hers. Do I get that feel?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you were to embark on a project like that, if you were to embark on a project where you wanted to show people that were included, people that are maybe normally somewhat excluded from normal, in parentheses, normal society, how would you go about it? Where would you go to try and find these people?
Well, I'd be looking for opportunities to photograph the very people that she's photographing, but to photograph them within groups of, and I hate to say this, but otherwise normal people.
Yeah. So would you go to a normal soccer practice, a normal concert arena, a playground where society gathers?
You would think so.
And find how people are interacting with each other and photograph differences that you see, or photograph all the different inclusivity that you see.
Yeah.
Or do you go to venues where people are maybe being excluded or more likely to be, a la homeless people on the street, and then photograph that? Which, I don't know, that seems to be a very different modus operandi than, as you said, going to the local playground or park or office building, walking to a normal office and photographing the people working there and finding how is inclusivity actually being represented in that workplace.
Yeah. To me that makes more sense.
Well, to me, it's far truer. And you know what? And if it's not, you photograph that it's not.
Yeah.
You photograph the not inclusivity. I mean, if you go to a workplace and there's nothing, that reminds me of the Seinfeld episode where Elaine objects to the local cafe owner only employing women with large breasts. Right. And so she goes and tries to report him to the police and all this sort of stuff. And she finally goes back and she confronts the owner personally. He goes, but they're my daughters. So it's got nothing to do with any physical attributes why they're employed there. It's a family relationship. So that's what I'm saying. So that's interesting. If you went to that workplace and go, oh, look how he's employing all these people who have these particular physical traits, or people or the absolute absence of people with other physical traits. Yeah, it's really tricky, But I don't know. I mean, I just found it an odd thing to point out what makes her a rising star.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And look, as I said, I preface this with that I'm quite sure I'm not intelligent enough to really comment on this properly. But that's just how it rang true to me for a minute. And I noticed on Peter's Pixel, there's only one comment from Barry.
Right.
And Barry just says, really? That's it. That's just, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and it's not that I'm not remotely picking on the quality of her work.
Yeah,
lack thereof. No, now I'm picking on the quality. No, I'm not. Yeah, looking at the work from an objective, artistic standpoint with my own bias to what I like. I'm just saying, well, how does that show inclusivity?
Yep.
I'm struggling myself.
Yep.
Inclusivity. God. How does it show people being inclusive? I just don't. Yeah, and that's a struggle. I think we always have as photographers who go out to photograph the people out there, is to find ways to be not exploitative in the work that we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm guilty of it 1,000 times. I'm sure, And so maybe you have to, when you're going out doing street photography, do you have to start filtering yourself? Well, why do I take this photo of this person? What is it? Oh, is it because he looks weird? Is that because she's super tall, or what is it that's are you trying to point out in the photograph? What's your actual message? What's the underlying, maybe subconscious thing that you're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I only photograph the homeless. Well, why? How does that help them?
Yeah.
How does
exactly.
Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah. And then you go, oh, well, what I'm doing is I'm using these and I work with this shelter over here, and we try and work with the people we meet, and we photograph them, and we introduce them to the shelter where we can try and we work towards getting them better health, medical advice and help. We work towards getting them jobs. Well, that's fair enough. Yeah. There's a holistic and sort of more than just I've taken a photo for social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, or take the photo for a photo competition.
You could probably say the same about war photographers to a certain extent.
Yeah, well, yeah. So what's the purpose of their image?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it only information? And the problem is, and it's like what's going on in Afghanistan at the moment, the war photographers at the moment, every image they're choosing to shoot drives a certain narrative.
Yes.
And that may only be one tiny fraction of what's actually happening there, for good or bad.
Actually, let's just say that the images they choose to publish drives the narrative, not necessarily what the photographers choose to shoot. Because I'm sure they're shooting a lot more stuff than we're getting to see.
And the editors are pulling out the story they want to tell.
Yeah.
Which is the only way to shoot a war photo that tells a true story is to do a panorama.
Yeah.
Okay, these people here have been hit with a stick.
Yeah.
These people here are trying to stop them, or these people here are going about their business completely oblivious to it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's horrible stuff's not happening, but how much are we informed by only what we see versus what's going on? So it's a good point. It's the same thing extrapolated, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
What we choose to shoot or choose to show or choose to publish drives the narrative that either we or our editor or whatever wants to push. Now, if you're working for, I don't know, some utter scumbucket journalist company owned by, say, I don't know, I'll pull a random name out, not to be, so I can't be sort of, Murdoch, that's a funny name.
Okay.
If you're looking for a Murdoch company,
right.
That's not a real name, so it's okay to say that. You've got a certain bias towards what you're trying to say, so you're not going to show photos that aren't rooted in that bias.
Yeah.
I went another weird tangent. I went onto Al Jazeera's website this week, not a news source I normally ever look at.
Yeah, right.
But just to see how events are being reported elsewhere.
Right.
It's not with the limited range of access to news that I have here in Australia. How is it? And it was quite certainly a broader story, but I'd say it was necessarily a different story, but it's a broader story because there's a lot more stories on what's going on than the few paragraphs that I get here.
Yeah.
So being exposed to seeing more images and more words about what's going on gave me a greater a greater understanding of a situation.
Yep.
Whereas this woman photographing these people for inclusivity, and I'm only seeing a person by themselves, that's a very narrow, not giving me any sort of story that kind of helps me make either be empathetic or have a great understanding of what's going on or how they actually are being included in society.
Yeah.
It's a tricky situation, this photography business,
Yep.
Maybe that's why macro photography is the only pure art left. This is the flower, and that's the bee that was on it.
Yep.
And, job done. Sure, there were other flowers. And yes, there were other bees, but this is the one I took a photo of. And now judge it as you will.
Yep.
So speaking of, I don't know. I don't think I can add anything more to that inclusivity or even the Afghan or all this whole conundrum of how we photograph.
Yeah. I
think it's a hell of a lot more interesting conversation than pointing a torch at the Milky Way.
Or sacrilege, Mr. Lavender.
What LED lights do I need to put inside my tent so it glows properly? And what colour jacket do I need to wear for this environment? Yeah. Oh, derision is such a wonderful thing. We're off to see derision. Anyway, speaking of photographing stuff, the Potato Photographer of the Year awards have just been announced.
Of course they have.
course I am. The potato photographer of the year. So first, let's go look at the photos. So open up your little jiggy there. Some damn good stuff, I have to say.
Yeah.
I love the one they've got at the top where they've got all the sprouts coming out the top of the potato and sort of got a comb. It's just like doing a haircut.
Yeah, that's great.
They've got Munch's the screen with the potato. The screen, that's pretty clever. They've got a nice portrait of a girl with a potato necklace.
Yes.
Australian photographer from New South Wales called Nicole Wells, Wells, does some wonderful portraits of her children.
Right.
Straight away, I saw this picture, I thought it was one of hers because it's lighting and the daughter kind of looks the same, but it wasn't. But it's very, very similar. There's some really cool shots in there.
Yeah.
Maybe we should all think about just thinking a challenge that we could do photos for Photographer of the Year 2022. I'm not sure where it's announced, but it's amazing what stuff's out there. But I thought the best thing about it, of course, was the comments, Bruce. The comments.
Of course, the comments
Beats the Sony Awards. I want to keep my eyes peeled for next year's exciting instalment. Fish fries. I wonder if this contest is inclusive enough, which I thought was hilarious after our last.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with this idea should get a roasting. Expect someone to post a genuine portrait of. Would have expected someone to post a genuine portrait of Keith Richards and nobody noticed. So you don't like these? I checked your gallery and there wasn't a single potato photo, so you shouldn't have an opinion. That's pretty good. If you are shortlisted, it means your photographic career is in tatters. Although the competition is well grounded, I wonder where they dug up the idea. I don't know. The competition seems kind of half-baked. They should allow us to send in photos of politicians. And then it went into an actual conversation, which I thought was interesting as well.
Yeah, right.
Actually, the thing I like most about these types of photo competitions is precisely that people can't use contemporary issues, politics, or exotic subject matter like remote tribes just to win a contest. They actually have to concentrate on the photography.
Yes.
And comes out with, I hadn't considered that. Very good point. Most of the photography competitions are won by pulling at heartstrings or reinforcing some bias people learned from spending too much time on social media. Because of the mundane subject matter, this shifts attention to the quality of the work and the creativity of the photographer.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Last two were, you guys need to get out a bit more. And there was, these are the guys who get out a bit more. I thought that was a little bit amusing.
Yeah,
but
that's
I thought about, as silly as Potato Photographer of the Year is, the fact that it requires you to come out of the box with creativity, lighting, the process of actual photography, rather than there was a time there where every photo competition was won by a homeless person. Well, not by a homeless person, a photo of a homeless person.
Yeah.
And we I think the last one we talked about, it was all like South Sudanese tribes, half of them.
Right. Yeah.
So same kind of has become the new. And so, in fact, when we talked about that one with all the South Sudanese tribes, and someone in the comments on that one said, tribe people are the new homeless.
Yeah.
So as funny as those photos were, I mean, the concept is really kind of a cool idea,
Yeah.
And maybe photographing that bee on the flower is so much more pure photography.
Yep.
Than these exploitative images of inclusivity or differences and everything else, which are emotional art tuggers rather than quality of photography. So time and place. Go back to war journalism. We wouldn't know what we know about a lot of what happens in war without these guys bravely sacrificing their lives to do the photo.
Oh, for sure.
But imagine if you could go back to World War II and you had access to all the German newspapers of the time.
Yep.
And all the newspapers of the time, and you looked at the photographs from both sides.
Yep.
It'd be interesting what the differences are.
Yes.
Because for sure there'd be photos of showing how Germans have destroyed this area.
Yeah.
Because we've knocked down our enemy.
Yeah.
And the same kind of photograph of Americans and the Allied forces going into Germany. We've knocked down our enemy, and there'd be so many. I think there'd be so many similarities in the photos. It'd be kind of haunting.
Yeah,
it'd be a fascinating project for someone who's got access to all that sort of content, just to see the similarities in that, and of course then the narrative of whoever's telling the words behind those pictures too.
Yeah. I was thinking while you were talking about the modern age and access to technology and access to immediate publishing, in the form of blogs and whatnot. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if there were war photographers who weren't bound by what they pass to their editors and what the editors then decide to publish, and who could just simply publish everything they shot to their own blogs. But then I thought, no, the problem with that idea is that most of those war photographers are embedded with an army corps and are under a pretty much an NDA,
or they're on one side or the other. Really, they're not jumping back and forward over the lines to get perspectives on both sides.
Oh, sure. Look, I don't think you'll ever get a war photographer who can, accurately show both sides of the conflict. But I thought it'd be interesting to see everything that a war correspondent gets to see, as opposed to just what, the editors decide to publish out of all of the content that photographer shoots.
Interesting, because to me, these guys probably uploading as they're shooting, just in case they get shot. It'd be interesting if there was a live site you could go to.
Yes,
a site you could that as they're shooting, and there's no commentary. It's just image after image after image is getting uploaded.
Yeah,
and you can kind of follow the timeline of those images.
Yeah,
along, and just see, and you're seeing all the crap shots. You're seeing all the good ones. You're seeing the mundane and the horrific. You're seeing all. It's all unfiltered.
Yeah,
as shot and seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be quite eye-opening, I'd imagine.
Very, yeah.
Well, we haven't solved the world's problems, but we've made a head start. We've made a bit of a start.
There we go.
Well, that's it for me. That's all I've got to talk about.
Yeah. Well, we got one from Philip Johnson this week.
Hey, Philip.
Yeah.
Oh, I should just mention. So I'm sorry to interrupt, poor Phil.
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome any and all new listeners from Fort Worth, Canberra, because I plugged the old podcast and said to come and have a listen to us. I did that the week before last, so they might have listened to last episode and not come back.
Right.
But if they did come back, we'll say a big hearty g'day to them.
Absolutely.
And please, on Facebook, Shutters Inc. What's it called on Facebook? Just Shutters Inc. podcast.
Shutters Inc. podcast. Yes.
Facebook page is Shutters Inc. Pop on there and drop us a hello from Texas.
Absolutely.
It's depressing if no one does.
Anyway, Philip Johnson found this great story on Petapixel about a thrift store miracle. College student finds a Leica M2 for just $5. And he's actually got a photo of it still shrink wrapped with the $4.99 price tag on it. That is just amazing. This kid decided to just drop into a Value Village, which I assume is the name of the store, and saw this Leica M2 all shrink wrapped up with a $4.99 price tag on it, and thought this is just too good to be true. Bought it. Yeah, and
miracles still happen.
Yeah. And walked away with a 50mm f2.8 lens with it. Yeah, for $5. Got to be happy with that.
Man, oh man, it's a couple of $1,000 worth a year right there.
Yeah.
When I used to collect rare books, antique fishing books, I used to have this bookstore. I put my name down to let people try and introduce themselves to the owners and stuff, and get the contact me if stuff came in. I used to have this guy who ran a bookshop called the Merchant of Fairness.
Nice.
And he called me up and said, "I've got some books, Glenn, come on down." And he said, "I've got this one. I want $12 for it, but look over here." He'd pull up like Australia's rare book list. Again, look, there's $300, but you can have it for $12.
What?
Okay, right, I'll take that then. Here, I want 20 for this one, but look, this one's for $300. So you go through all this stuff about how much these books are worth, and then sell them to me for like a fraction.
Why?
I don't know.
How could he make money if he's doing that all the time?
I know, well, he's out of business now. It was the bizarrest situations. It's kind of like that, the rare camera being worth a foot. But you can still find stuff like that. I used to go into stores, I'd find books for $2 that were worth $1,000.
Really?
You know? Oh, yeah, it used to happen, but then it became more and more people into it.
Yeah.
So the opportunities are far, far less. And, of course, when you get older and have more responsibilities and kids, you have less time to go looking. But, yeah, you'd find I'd call the store and say, hey, have you got any books? Oh, I've got nothing. So I'd go in anyway. Oh, look, there's a $300 one for $12. Look at that. Oh, there's a handwritten book on fishing in Victoria from the 1880s.
Wow.
Yeah, $20. Yeah, there's stuff out there that are worth a lot of money if you could put the legwork in to get it. You know?
Yeah, right.
There used to be people go door knocking on houses all the time. Do you have any old camera gear? Do you have any or fishing gear in that case as well? And they go out to the farms looking anywhere around rivers, see if any of their ancestors used to fish. But the same thing with cameras. Do you have any old camera gear? And people used to pick up so much stuff.
Yeah.
In the 70s and 80s and stuff, that was worth a fortune because people didn't know the value. But, of course, less and less and less.
I'm still kicking myself because when we first moved up here 10 years ago, there was a secondhand bookstore down in the centre of Gosford, in the scummy part of town where there aren't a whole lot of businesses.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be in there one day and I'm browsing through the vinyl records. And for $50, I'm still kicking myself for not picking this up.
Not a Beatles box set.
Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, quadraphonic pressing for $50.
How much are they these days?
I would hate to think.
Could be 55.
Probably a bit more than that, I would imagine.
Man.
So, yeah, I looked at it at the time and went, what on earth?
$50?
I should buy. I was thinking I should buy this and then just didn't. And, yeah.
It's funny you don't follow your instincts, isn't
it?
Yeah,
exactly.
But I guarantee that if you spend enough time going to thrift stores and stuff like that, you'll find stuff.
Yeah.
You'll find stuff that's, and it might not be a Leica M2, but you'll pick up some, especially, I think we've never had a better opportunity in this day and age with all these lens mount adapters. We can put like other brand lenses and other modern cameras to go out and find old 60s, 70s lenses for $5-10. That could do really cool photography, They don't require you to use that 60s or 70s camera to make it work. You can put them in your old modern camera and shoot away. So,
yeah.
If that's your thing.
Yep.
Nice. Thanks, Phil.
So we got a bunch of stories again from Paul Sutton.
You say that like it's a negative.
No. I didn't say that.
Another bunch of stories from Paul Sutton.
No.
Right.
But one of the stories that he sent us, again from Petapixel, is that Brian Adams, yes, the Brian Adams, Summer of 69 guy.
He's a photographer.
He's a photographer, and he shot the 2022 calendar for Pirelli.
Ah.
Now, the Pirelli calendar has, traditionally been quite the collectible calendar to have,
Yeah.
Quite the accolade to land that gig, I would say.
Is it, though?
Well, maybe not today. I don't know. It certainly used to be.
You think, well, maybe is it a waning product? And they figure if we get a celebrity to shoot it, more people will buy it. That may be. I've been told I'm cynical, Bruce, and that might be the cynic in me.
Do you want to hear the cynic in me?
Yeah, go on.
The cynic in me is reading the text of this blog post, which was clearly written by a millennial, because it says Brian Adams, a musician perhaps best known for his hit "Everything I Do it for You."
Oh.
Now, okay, it was a hit. But you can't tell me it was a bigger hit than Summer of 69.
Depends where which country you're from.
Okay, I don't know.
Well, imagine if you're writing the article and you're from England, let's say.
Yeah.
And Summer of 69 wasn't a hit there.
Okay.
But Everything I Did to You, whatever it was called. Was the only hit you can think of.
Maybe it was a bigger hit. I don't know. It just seems to me that
maybe in volume of record sales. Was that the one? Was that the one for the movie?
It was. It was in Robin Hood,
Bodyguard?
Prince of Thieves. Yeah.
Okay, not Bodyguard. No.
You're thinking of Whitney Houston.
No, is it really? I don't know these things.
I think you're right, though, about the Pirelli calendar. I think, its heyday was in the 70s and the 80s when it was still okay to, photograph TNA.
When you could objectify women.
Yeah, and that has certainly gone by the wayside. So maybe you're right in, that idea that it's a waning.
Yeah, and if you get because we're all talking about it because it's Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a celeb to shoot it.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah. I saw Bryan Adams in his first ever concerts in Australia.
Really?
Before he'd had a hit single, so no one knew who he was.
Wow.
He was supporting the Police on their last ever concert tour.
So what year was this?
84, something like that.
Oh, so Cuts Like a Knife would have been out by then.
No, maybe early 80s. I don't know. Whenever it was, no one knew it. No one had ever heard of his name.
Yeah, right.
Because what happened? We're at a concert venue with 80,000 people.
Yeah.
And surprise international guest.
Yeah.
Was supporting. There's all these Australian bands on. Yeah. Surprise international guest, then the Police.
Right.
I think maybe Carl Hemmings was at this concert. So all day long, everyone's going, I wonder who it's going to be. Then it got leaked. This guy called Bryan Adams. And everyone's going around, Bryan Adams, never heard him. All day long. Bryan Adams, never heard of him. 80,000 people said that. Yeah. Bryan Adams comes on stage with a box, starts throwing these badges out in the audience. Yeah. And the badge says, Bryan Adams doesn't know you either.
Nice.
And then he started singing a song called Fork.
Right.
Well, it sounded like fork, but it was a bit ruder.
Okay.
And every word was fork. And it's fork this and fork that and the fork. And halfway through the song, he had the whole crowd won over. So he had that star ability,
Nice.
But, so that was, it might have been 82. It was a long ways back.
Yeah, right. I remember my mate Dave, who's the singer-songwriter,
yes,
telling me this was he told me this story probably 15 years ago. He said, mate, I remember the first time I saw Matchbox 20. He said they were playing in a coffee shop in King Street in Newtown to a crowd of about 50 people. He said the next time they came to Australia, they were playing the Enmore Theatre, which is a 1,500, 2,000 seat room, to standing room only. He said, and then the next time they were out here, they'd sold out the Entertainment Centre, which was a 12,000 seat room. But I'm thinking, man, to have seen someone like Matchbox 20 in a coffee shop to 50 people, that would be awesome.
Man. 1982 was a Police concert.
Right. Wow. So that does predate both Into the Fire and Cuts Like a Knife.
Well, I wouldn't know. I've never listened to any of them.
So they were the two albums prior to Reckless.
Oh, I thought they were songs.
Not a Bryan Adams fan, obviously.
Yeah. Speaking of not being a fan, I saw someone sent me a post today. It was Facebook. Someone had said, "Does anyone actually know anyone who's actually caught COVID? Anybody in Australia?" Sort of thing. Yeah. And someone came back with, "I don't know anyone who owns a Nickelback album yet. They sold 50 million. What's your point?"
That's classic.
I love saying the Nickelback, man.
That is great.
We call him the Paddle Pop Lion down here in Australia.
That's right. He does look like the Paddle Pop Lion.
If you don't know, if you're from a place that doesn't have paddle pops, just dial up Paddle Pop Lion
and Chad Kroger. Yeah.
And the guy from Officeworks. What's the name? No, Middleworks.
His name is Chad Kroger, the lead singer of Nickelback.
Nickelback, not Noiseworks. Nickelback, another crappy band.
No, the lead singer of Noiseworks was John Stevens.
That's right. I saw him play Jesus.
Right.
Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar. But I also saw him play Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Right.
So I saw, I've seen him the good and the bad.
Yeah.
And he's quite ugly, so you kind of got all three going. So he was Judas to John Farnham's Jesus.
Right.
And then he was Jesus just for himself, I think. Yeah.
I saw Noiseworks. This will date me. At the Ballina RSL Club.
Just looking at a photo of your date sheet.
I saw Noiseworks at the Ballina RSL in, this would have been around about 89, I guess. and it was before their third album came out. They were playing in a room licensed to hold 600 people, and there were about 800 in there. It was absolutely jam-packed. And the bar, and this was early days for when bars started selling beer in plastic cups rather than glasses at live events. And so everyone had these little plastic cups of beer. And there was some guy right down the front, jammed up against the stage, who kept throwing his plastic cups onto the stage. And eventually, in between a couple of songs, John Stevens has just looked down into the crowd and he's going, guys, can you please not throw the plastic cups on stage? It's really distracting, right? Yeah. Halfway through the next song, this plastic cup has flown through the air, hit John Stevens in the cheek, like just glanced off his face, and he's just turned around and sort of nodded at the guitarist and just like take a solo, and he has jumped off the stage and just smacked this guy, like full on swung a fist right into this guy's face. The guy's just gone down for the count, and the security guys have just swarmed in, picked up John Stevens and thrown him back on the stage, and then picked up this other guy and just dragged him out of the club.
Now, just to our listeners, Shutters Inc. podcast do not think violence is a solution unless it's really necessary, unless they're really annoying sods.
That's right.
What else have we got to talk about? This is almost becoming a music podcast.
It has.
I used to see AC/DC rehearse.
See them rehearse? How'd you get to see them rehearse?
Well, I used to work in an ice skating rink as a teenager.
Right.
And when it was closed and we were cleaning up, they came in. There's a big space where they could rehearse.
Wow.
They knew the owners or something. So they came. I went to my first, and I'll also admit, only gay club with AC/DC sound technician of the time.
Right.
Oh, yeah, because he took us all out. We were like 15.
So where was this? Was this Adelaide?
Ringwood, Iceland.
Oh, in Melbourne?
Yeah.
Okay, because they were an Adelaide band originally.
Adelaide, from some New South Wales, from Vic, but there was this stage they were living in Warrandyte in Victoria at this particular stage. Yeah, this is well before they went to England.
Right.
Obviously, because otherwise they'd be in England. And so they I know something like 8 or 10 times.
Wow.
And then the guy who took us to the gay club bought all their sound equipment from them.
Yeah.
And that helped fund for them getting to England.
Wow.
And then he'd rent that sound equipment out to bands coming to Australia.
Yeah, right.
The tour. Yeah.
Wow.
That would have been about
mid-70s?
Yes, mid-75, 76, 77, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, way back in the sub-annals of time, you know. Not just at the cockles, but the sub-cockles. It's way back there. But yes, anyway, that's enough of music. We were talking about something about photography. You were about to say.
I was going to talk about another story, but you know what? I'm done. I'm done. We've done 56 minutes. That's enough.
That's enough torture. Can I make a suggestion?
What's that?
Save these stories for next week when we've got nothing to talk about. We'll talk about those.
Okay, sounds good.
Because that way we have to do even less work next week.
That's right. Excellent.
Which I'm always up for.
The work's already done.
Unless they're time sensitive and they'll run out like they're a special, then we'll talk about it next week and tell people they missed it.
Yes, exactly.
Much better.
Because I've got an early start in the morning, so...
Do you, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, of course, you're going to get your truck.
Yes, so it's up at 3 to be at work by 4.
Victor says what?
Yep.
Wow.
Exactly.
So you work 3 till when?
I work 4 till 1300, so 1 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like 5 hours of straight work or something, isn't it? That's not good.
I wish it was only 5 hours.
You go get yourself to bed, and don't worry, I'll edit the podcast and put it out for you.
Fantastic, mate. Good on you.
In fact, anybody editing, just hit send.
There we go.
That's how it works, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. I wish.
Oh, just speaking of,
I
didn't hit record. Just so you know.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I just realised just then.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Sorry, dude. Literally that very second, it said, Because normally we talk about it. Normally, are you recording?
Yeah.
And normally I go, yes, because I already am, except for today.
Right.
Oh.
All right. Never assume. Okay.
Yeah. It makes an ass out of you.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, you have a good week.
You too, mate. Take care.
We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
You've been listening to Shutters Inc. For questions, comments, and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.